once again.
Good
Jackie,
morning.
good morning. What is going on?
Nothing. It's just this Monday. This is like the Monday of Mondays. This weather is killing me.
We've talked about rainy days and Mondays always gets us down, but it's not getting me down. I'll tell you what is kind of getting me down a little bit is
What?
that I have this cold.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
And then it being a Monday, a rainy Monday. Although you know how I feel. I do like Mondays. It's just the rain is like killing me. 8 straight weeks in a
yeah,
row.
listen, it's water. We have someone who's coming on who's going to warm us up. Uh,
True.
she's going to be like comfort food for us, so it's going to be nice. But I do want to say this though first. I'm going old school because even though I have this cold, and by the way, you'll pardon me if I start to do the ugly cough thing, like that,
Yeah.
like that.
Mute
Yeah,
yourself,
I'll try
please.
not to. But I'm going old school, so I'm in the office today. For those of you who are coming in the office, I have a mask. If you want me to wear it, I'll wear it. I just thought it was time, several years after the pandemic, that we kind of get over that paranoia. 2 years ago, we would not have been open.
Yeah.
So I do want to respect where everyone is coming from, and nobody wants to get anything, even though everyone right now is sick in some way
A
or
lot of
another.
people have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
So
actually upped our supplements at home just because everybody, I feel like one person after another, I'm like, oh, another one down. Like everyone is just,
yeah, you know what? I think it's good because if I'm not mistaken, last year it happened right around Christmas.
mm-hmm.
So if it's
I got
earlier
the
this
flu
year,
last
fine.
year.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
I
good,
had
good
the
for you.
flu.
We were celebrating that.
Yeah,
Hey, it's a
yeah.
flu only. That's all.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like positive for the flu. I'm like, is that still a thing? I was like, is that real? Me? I brought that back? Okay.
Well, listen, we do want to thank everyone who's joining us today, and I don't want to waste too much time. I want to get to Zaraid because Zaraid is one of these people. She's remarkable in her everyday life, as a lot of our clients are, and she's done remarkably well on the program. She's down 66 pounds now
Yeah,
so far,
I know.
and
And
she's
she's
a lot more
midway.
interesting than me. What'd you say?
She's midway. I think she's day like 20, early 20s.
Well, yeah, that's not all this round that she's down
No, but
66
still,
pounds.
I
Yeah,
mean, she's just tremendous. It's tremendous how well she does every time she jumps
she's
on.
done unbelievably well. She's unbelievably happy. So instead of us talking about her,
Bring her in.
let's bring her in from the green room. If anyone's watching wants to say hi to Zaraid or ask a question, then please do so. So without further ado, I hate it. That's so cliche.
I
How about
know.
this? With further ado, here is Zaraid. Hi,
Hi,
Zaraid. How
everyone.
are you?
Hi.
I'm well. I'm well. How are you guys doing this
Good.
morning? I
How are
heard
you?
the rainy days, etc. I
It's like,
hope
That.
you feel better, Dr. R.
yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm fine. I just need everyone to send me chicken soup and sympathy. That's all.
No, matzo ball soup.
Matzo ball soup is chicken
That's
soup.
penicillin for
All
sure.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. I actually made my. So here's the good news: is I was getting cobwebs on my crock pot, but thanks to this cold, I needed to make some chicken soup. So I did yesterday. Broke out the crock pot. I made about 7 gallons and drank six. So it was all good.
Oh, good.
But Zaraid,
Yeah,
so let's talk about you. Did I get that right? You're down 66 pounds so far.
66.8 as of this morning.
This is
Wow.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thanks for joining us, and I think we could just end right there.
That's
Yeah.
about you.
What else can we say?
I think some of your followers may want to hear a little bit more than that, but
Just a bit.
I'm happy to share my journey, and thank you for inviting me to share my journey. It's been a journey, a lifelong journey for me. I will, I won't take you back to my childhood days where I was actually so thin as a child that my mom would get letters from my grandmother in Cuba saying, feed that child.
I think every grandparent says that, no
Right.
matter what, right?
So I fast forward to adulthood. I have been dealing with, and it's in the family, right? When you're dealing with obesity, it can be something that is hereditary, or it can be something that is, just the norm of how you're raised and how you eat, etc. Right? And that follows you throughout life. But
How
I have
were
been
you
through.
raised by your family? Were they constantly shoving food in your face?
Well, yes, because they were trying to get
Fatten you
me
up.
to put some weight on as a
Yeah.
child. And then puberty hit, and then all of a sudden, overnight, I think I gained about 20 pounds overnight.
Wow.
In a summer, actually, it was truly on a summer break. But that's way too far
Crazy.
back. I think I want to share my most current journey, and you know, I'm actually a former or a Roux-en-Y patient, so I did have bariatric surgery in 2007. I was very successful in that. I lost about 150 pounds.
Wow.
And life was amazing and life was wonderful. And I met my husband. We will be celebrating 12 years together this November, actually.
Aw.
So happy
Congratulations.
about
Happy
that. But
anniversary.
the health journey has been something that has followed me along. I was very successful for many years. And then, unfortunately, my mom, who lived with me, right, became ill. And so I was a primary caretaker for my mom. And my mom passed away in 2019. She passed away in May of 19. And that was very, very difficult. It was a very challenging time, just because, when you're dedicating so much of your time to helping another human being and someone you love, you sort of forget yourself, right? Don't we all do that? And every
Mhm.
mom out there, and
Oh
even if you're
yeah.
not a mom, you have fur babies, or you
Oh yeah.
have a parent you're taking care of, right? And you put yourself on the back shelf
Yeah.
and you prioritize everything else around you except yourself. And
Mhm.
that's exactly what I did. And it was a difficult challenge for my mom's loss. It was a 2-year journey, and it was challenging. 24/7. We were caring for her, and when I lost her, it was this massive vacuum in my life. Right, what was my purpose again? And then I turned around and looked and said, "Oh my God, who are you, and where did you come from?" And then the
Were
sadness.
you, by the way, Zaraid, were you gaining weight during that
Well,
whole
throughout the
period?
whole time, absolutely
Got it.
gaining weight. Yes,
How much did you
absolutely.
gain?
The comfort food, the eating inappropriately because you didn't have time, because you were running between, work and home, and at the tail end, her care facility, etc. So it was just, yes, it was weight after weight after weight, but I wasn't paying attention, right? And I
Hmm.
was thinking, oh, I'll take care of this later.
Of course.
I did, in fact, start the program twice before, and I was successful up and through reset. So the first two times I did the program, I never really succeeded at reset because life stepped in, whatever that reason was, right? Always something. And when I started the program this April, I was really at a point, if you can, lost my mother, the sadness and depression of that, the vacuum of that, and then the depression of seeing where I had come, right? It was all really, really challenging. And then the pandemic hit. Funny you should
Mm.
mention the pandemic.
Good
So
old pandemic rears
Oh,
its ugly
pandemic.
head.
Yeah.
So
The
the
fact that you would
pandemic
reference
hit.
an
I was
old
not one of those that worked out and changed my life for the better.
Mm.
It was very insulating and very difficult. But fast forward to April of this year, where I finally came to the realization, okay, I need to address what's happening here. I need to feel better. My blood pressure was through the roof. I was on 2 blood pressure medications. I am on a blood thinner, but that is something out of my control. I actually survived 2 massive bilateral pulmonary embolisms.
Oh,
And so, because of that second one, which by the way was caused by COVID, um,
Mm.
I have to now, live on blood thinners. But
wow.
for me, I said, you know what? There was diabetes and certainly hypertension in my family, and my mother-in-law was suffering, and she passed away this year. And she was suffering from the effects of diabetes over her life, and I thought, I don't want to be here. I don't want this for me, and I don't want this for my family. I could see my husband and his siblings suffering through the outcome of that. And I said, And I said that I say this to Dr. R all the time. Listen, I don't want to be in a bikini. I just want to be healthy.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
So
You know,
I started
you
my
connect that,
journey. Yeah. I started my journey in April, and I hit it on all levels, right? So this is round 2 for me. I just started round 2. I'm on day 22 of round 2, but round 1 started in April, and when it was funny when I did the assessment for round 2. Trisha did it with me over the phone just based on my availability, but she was reading the questions to me and I was answering, 1 to 10, scale of 1 to 10, scale of 1 to 10. And I was like, I don't know, 2, I don't know, maybe 1, maybe.
Yeah.
And there were moments where she said, Zaraid, you realize you were like at 9, you were
Yeah.
at 10 on some of these.
So just to clarify for everyone,
Yes.
when Trish was doing the assessment with you, you were being asked questions like, how bad is your blank on a
Correct.
scale of 1 to 10?
Right.
And it had been very high. It was 9s.
Super
And
high.
then when you did it the
Yes. And
second
being the
time,
worst. Yes.
it went down to 1s and 2s.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And
What specifically improved that
well,
dramatically?
when I look at my hypertension was gone. So I'll have to, I will share on round 1, within, I would say the 3rd week of round 1, I started to feel very weak. And it
Mm,
turns out my blood pressure was regulating. So I was taking blood pressure medication
Yeah.
twice a day that I no longer needed to take twice a day. And I started with my doctor, with my GP, started to titrate that back, right?
yep.
And when I closed out round 1, I was on a half a pill every 8 to 10 days.
Oh, wow. Why
That's
even bother?
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
massive.
I do want to speak to this for a minute, though,
Yes.
because uh, the program, and I don't think we can advertise for this legally. I wish we could.
Yeah.
The program, in my experience, helps blood pressure to such an amazing degree that we have to warn people
Yes.
before they start that they're to take
Yeah.
their blood pressure readings twice a day and
Mhm.
communicate with their doctor regarding medications.
Mhm.
Yes.
In your case, like what you were saying is your blood pressure was improving naturally and the medication was making it go really low and you felt crappy. So
Correct.
people need to understand that and just how effective that is not expected to happen, while a person is still obese
Correct.
after 3 weeks doing a program. I mean, it's a kind of miraculous thing. And I've seen this over and over again.
My
Yeah.
husband was one of those too. When he did the program, it's the same situation. And he at one point, and then his mind started to play tricks on him. He thought he was having he was having an anxiety attack over it. Like he's like, wait, something's wrong. Like why do I feel so like he felt himself fading out?
God.
And it was such a weird thing. And I'm like, are you okay? And he was like, then he was like thinking about it, and then he felt like it was his chest, and he's like, oh my gosh. And then when they realized, and he didn't need it anymore. And
Right.
it was literally, give or take around the same time, like you're saying. I want to say closer to the 3-week mark.
Yeah.
And and honestly, and I'm sure you could say the same thing. It was like within the first week, he felt. I mean, you can't believe how much better you feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just like you wake up and you're like, oh, like until you start to remind yourself of it, you're like, I really do feel really good right
You
now.
wake up. You
Yeah,
wake
it's a wake up,
like the
absolutely.
fog goes
Yeah.
away.
Mhm.
So Zaraid, so that happened after 3 weeks. And what
Right.
else was it? What else improved in that time?
So I honestly, I attacked all aspects of my life and at every level. So I knew I was in a deep depression that had led to this, and I met with a therapist, and I'm like, let's talk through what's happening with me here. I did that. I addressed this, right? I addressed my weight loss and was seeing incredible success, which made me feel so much better. To your point, Jackie, very refreshed and thinking, I can do this.
Yeah.
This is it. I have to say, it takes planning, right? It doesn't
yeah.
happen magically, right? You
Absolutely.
do have to have the discipline of creating the plan ahead, which I do. And I always try. My trick is, okay, let's make sure I've got 4 days of meals that I can like put on
Right. You say
repeat
it all
if
the
I
time.
need to, right?
You say it all the time.
And then there's
What do
the
you need?
coconut oil treat day, right?
Yep.
Or two. So, you know, once you're in that pattern, it's like any habit that you establish.
Correct.
it seems insurmountable at first, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? How am I going to remember? But you know what? Once you get into that, I'll call it into that groove, it becomes a habit and a pattern. And it's so easy. It just
No,
takes
it
the
really
guesswork
is.
out of it, right? To a
Yeah.
certain degree. And so, you know, I felt empowered. Oh, and by the way, in parallel, and Dr. R and I talked about this, I started working with a personal trainer. So I joined
Oh,
a studio, a Pilates studio near me, and they are working with me. And I said to them, listen, I can't go into high cardio. I can't break a
I can't
sweat.
sweat.
Can't break a sweat.
Okay.
But I haven't been moving my body, you know, in the ways that I would for a
Mhm.
long time. So they had worked with me. They've been amazing working with me within the program, following and tracking my progress as well.
That's awesome.
And, you know, stretching and just flexing my body and getting movement back into my body so
Living
that
in your
when
own
I
body,
hit,
enjoying it.
yeah, oh, it was wonderful. And when I hit reset, when I was there, right? I think reset for me, if I remember correctly, Dr. R, it was 45 pounds down when I finished round one. And I actually then kicked up my workouts, but I was ready, right?
Yeah.
Because I had been toning
Z,
and I had been moving.
Z,
Yeah.
let me stop you here. There's so
Yeah.
much I want to talk about. I do
Okay.
want to get into reset because, you
Yes.
know, that's really made the difference for you in a lot of ways.
Huge
Mhm.
difference, by the
Right,
way. I
right.
succeeded in
Yes.
reset.
That's the hardest part of the program.
Yeah.
Hold on, we're going to get into it, I promise. But really, there's a couple of things that are remarkable, and one is that you described being depressed, and for
Yeah,
good reason, right? I mean, you just
absolutely.
had a lot coming at you
Yeah.
between,
Yes.
you know, being a caretaker, and losing loved ones, and
Mhm.
the whole world shutting down,
Mhm.
and so it makes a lot of sense. But that changed relatively quickly on the program. It's
Yes.
hard to really unpack what's what, but what percentage of your depression do you think was actually physiological or physical, and how much was emotional?
Oh my God. To me, they're just tied, they're hand in hand.
Sure.
You
Yep.
are.
You know, your physical experience in your own body and how well you feel will impact your emotions
Oh yeah.
around you. You know,
Right.
I mean, when I look at my emotions, you wake up and you're having a bad day. It's almost like there's this, we talk about rose colored glasses, right? How you see everything cheery
Yeah.
and pink. And for me, when you're in that funk and in that depression, right? When you're not happy with yourself, when your physical body, oh, by the way, I didn't mention that I couldn't breathe. So I had COVID 3 times, and
Oh,
I never regained my ability to breathe.
wow.
I couldn't walk from my house to the parking lot, from the parking lot to my office, without huffing and puffing, to the point where people would stop me and say, "Are you okay?" They
Mm,
thought I was going to keel over. How could I not
That
mention
weighs
that?
heavy on your
That
body
was
as
my
well.
life. And
Yeah.
so you can imagine, you know, my husband and I love going out and doing things and traveling. And even when things opened up after COVID, you know, going into New York was something that we did all the time, right? Theater, you know, the Metropolitan Museum, our favorites. I couldn't do it. I couldn't park and walk, let alone walk through a museum.
That's not quality. That's not.
It was horrific. And, you know, it was, to me, it was very different than, okay, you're overweight, lose the weight, you're going to be able to breathe. No, no, no. I had been at that weight or more, actually,
Right.
and never experienced this inability to get air into your lungs, which was,
No
it's very
capacity.
difficult to explain. But what I will say is, within the program, again, within 3 to 4 weeks, I started to realize I wasn't struggling for breath. And
Mhm.
the inflammation in my body just reduced so incredibly and so quickly that I finally realized, oh my gosh, I could, because by the way, I had every test under the sun for my lung function.
mm.
Yeah.
And finally the outcome was, oh, you have COVID,
Long
um,
COVID, probably.
Long
long
COVID.
COVID that triggered asthma.
Mm,
And I refused to get on a steroid. So nope, I'm gonna just do like a, if I need an inhaler, I'll do that. But when I lost all that inflammation, I realized, oh my God, my lungs must have been so inflamed
Yeah.
that they couldn't process air.
Yeah.
And so, I can't skip that story, Dr. R. It's something just
You know
No,
what?
I
That's
appreciate you
so
sharing it.
thrilling. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so thrilling. And I remember your breathing now that you mentioned it.
yeah.
I remember it when you first came in. And I do want to emphasize this though, because you were talking about depression,
Yes.
which in our world, in our society, we think is purely an emotional thing, right? You get
Mhm.
triggered, you go into a depression.
No.
Mhm.
In your case, you were not breathing. So when you were sleeping, presumably your body needed oxygen,
Yeah.
and it needed oxygen at other times. How how can someone not be depressed when they have the sensation
Right.
all the time of not being able to breathe?
Yeah.
And
Right.
this is what I want people to understand, that if you're suffering emotionally, there's also definitely a big physical component. Am
A
I
Oh,
wrong?
100%.
Okay, good.
absolutely.
A
I mean, it
hundred
weighs heavy on
percent.
your mind. I mean, your mindset is just, you just don't have this, there's no quality, there's no clarity, and your mind goes so quickly to try to fix the problem it's addressing.
Yeah.
But when you don't have that clarity, your mind starts to just wander. I mean, you spiral out of control. And
Yeah.
I use that term for so many things that we discuss on the journey of our program, because you're bringing things to light that you didn't even realize were that bad until you know that they could be better.
Exactly.
You
Well,
know,
yes.
and that's
We were
exactly
talking about this last week. Well, actually, Jackie blew me off last week on the live,
enough.
but we were talking about it. We were talking about anemia, and
Yeah.
Oh,
anemia is a case where you're not getting enough oxygen. So of
correct.
course, there's going to be anxiety and depression and low moods and what have you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is really wonderful. Any other non-scale victories that you want to share?
I love that. Non-scale victories.
Non-scale victories. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like myself. I feel like who Zaraid has been all her life, which, I'm
She's
a
an ass
very,
kicker.
what did you just say? I've always been very driven and very motivated. And, I I had lost that person. And so I feel like myself again. I feel strong. I feel positive.
Love that.
Um, I'm no longer, seeing anyone or, under therapy for depression. I have zero depression at this
Wonderful.
point. And yeah, my therapist was like, "This is fantastic. You're doing
You
great."
don't need me
Did
anymore.
she
Bye.
release you? They're not in the habit of releasing people.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. She said, "You don't need me anymore. You're doing fine."
Oh, that's
You
So
got a good one then. That was a good one.
yeah, no, she was fantastic,
You know,
fantastic. But
there's a couple
I,
of things. Go ahead. You
yeah, no,
finish.
go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
no, go ahead. Go, you tell me.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say scale related victories. To me, that's massive because to me, I have a journey, I have a plan. I'm not at goal yet, but I will be at goal, and my target is next spring. I will be at fully 100% my goal,
Awesome.
and I'm on track, to do that and to make that happen. I will say the success. The other thing I want to share is you hear about how this program really reprograms your body, right, to learn what your metabolism should be doing to burn, right, and how to make your metabolism healthier. And I kept thinking, I again never succeeded on reset. But having succeeded on reset, I also then went into maintenance because I had 2 vacations planned in August and in September, that were extensive, and one was a family reunion where, I think at last count there were 65 of us at a resort just having a fabulous time for a week and enjoying all of the wonderful Cuban food that we love, right? Um, so I was able to enjoy that, do maintenance for 2 months. And in that time frame, in that first month, I continued to lose weight. I lost 10 pounds. I
Also, it's also remarkable, and I do want to explain this to people though, because
Yes,
maybe someone's watching, they don't know what we mean by reset.
correct.
On the program that you did, the first thing we did was we did a detox for 40 days,
Yes.
right? We have to clean out the body. We've got to get rid of the gunk and the rust that builds up to make everything more efficient.
And the inflammation.
And the inflammation, right?
Hired, Zaraid, you're
100%.
hired.
Yeah. So after that, though, we're not done. And there's a big misconception about the program that it's only a detox. And it's not, because the next phase, which you said you were never able to master in the past, is called the reset. And the purpose of the reset is to reset and retrain your body to not gain the weight back, to get used to the weight that you're at that moment. And you were able to do that remarkably successful. How? What did you do differently than in the past? And what would you recommend for others to do in the reset?
So in the reset, I continued to weigh myself every morning, right? And I was very, very careful. I know, Dr. R, you and I talked all the time about how I just didn't think I could get all my calories in, right? Because you go from this low calorie phase into, okay, let's now eat 3 meals a day. Well, you want me to have breakfast?
Yeah, we pretty much tripled your calories.
You
So
do, you do.
another
And
misconception, it's not a low calorie program, it's a low
no,
calorie detox
yes.
within a high calorie program.
That is correct. That
Yeah.
is correct. And so, what I did differently this time was I focused, right? I knew my goal was health, and my focus did not waver. And even though I knew I had these events coming up in August and September, we talked about it repeatedly. We planned around it. We talked through what were the best options. And in reset, I was, very careful to ensure that I was within that 2 pound limit of my weight set point, and that I didn't go under and I didn't go over. And I struggled
Mm.
probably more with going under than I did with going over. But I did, really enjoy adding, new food every day and checking it out and testing it out and saying, oh, I could have this and it was okay, So I was just very as vigilant. I was as vigilant, I will say, in reset as I had been in phase, in the prior phase.
Right. And that's what it
So
takes.
that was very,
And,
very
and
helpful.
and
And
you went away,
yeah,
you went on a couple of trips,
Yeah,
right? Where did
she was on a vacation for like 6 weeks.
yes.
Yeah, like
I was
you
like,
had
I
the
don't feel
summer
bad
of
for you,
love.
Zaraid. I don't feel bad for you.
Where did you go, and how were you able to lose weight? And so in the reset, you're not allowed to lose weight, right? The purpose is to lock it in. So you have
Mhm.
Correct.
a 2 pound
Yeah.
window, right?
Down
Either
window.
above or below your weight set point. But then
Right.
after that, you were able to lose weight. Once you do that for a certain amount of time, you're allowed to lose again. So where did you
Yeah.
go, and how were you able to lose weight?
So if I remember correctly, I actually reset ended about a week before I went away on my first vacation in August. And
Mhm.
I started to add, all the things, your oils are healthy oils and healthy fats. But once I actually hit vacation, that was the family reunion. And again, great food everywhere, that you can imagine. But what I did, which how many of you have packed workout clothes and sneakers for your vacation and never touched them when you're on vacation?
Guilty.
Multiple times. Guilty multiple times. Well, this time I was so focused. I said, you know what? I am on vacation. I want to enjoy my family. I want to enjoy the meals that I know will be, you know, as much within a healthy balance as they can be.
Yes.
And really manage my alcohol intake, right? We all love our drinks on the beach and all of those things. So I would get up in the morning and I would go for my walk. It was 100 degrees in Florida because we went to Florida, by the way. Um, so it was 100 degrees. I'd try to get out before like 8 a.m. just so that I could get
In August.
my in August, get my walk in. And so, yeah, I would get up in the morning and we practically booked out this entire tiny little resort. And I would see my family starting their coffee morning, their breakfast, and just, hey guys, and I'd go and do my walk and come back and then get ready to enjoy the rest of the day. And what I did was I didn't indulge in everything that was there. I was very particular about what I chose to enjoy, right? So the sugary drinks, we're amazing, by the way. You all want to come on vacation with us as a family.
Okay.
Everybody's like
Yeah,
preparing
thanks. I didn't know we
something
were invited.
special,
Good.
right? Somebody's bringing something. So we had, I don't know, 2 days of like frozen margaritas and frozen, pops, ice cream pops and
I'll
such.
bring the beach balls, Jackie.
I'm bringing myself. All right, suntan lotion.
That's not enough. Okay, good. You got the lotion.
Suntan lotion.
But you know what? I was able to say no, and everyone was very respectful. First of all, everyone was amazed at not
I
only
inspired them, like, oh my gosh, look at
not
Zaraid.
only
Look
how
at
I
what
was
she's doing
looking
and
because
how you're
of the
feeling.
loss, but the fact that I was breathing, and they were all so very worried about me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Prior to that. And so they were elated, and they weren't like, no, have some. Oh no. I
No.
bought all of the things that I knew I needed to have for myself. I brought my meals with me if we were all joining together as a gang. We went out to eat. I would choose the right things for me. And did I taste a little, piece of Cuban bread? Did I have a ham croquette? Yes. But I didn't, that wasn't my primary meal, which was for me finding balance and knowing that I could enjoy myself. And I did have my wine, and I did mostly my vodka. And I did that. And when I got home, I think I was 5 pounds over. And I thought, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to do what I need to do. I know what I need to do.
And you know what you have to do
It is
now.
for that. And I tell you, I lost those 5 pounds within a week.
Right, and you're hitting on one of the keys, right?
Yes.
This is where people go wrong, is that they assume that they're going to be perfect for the rest of their life. That's their plan, right? The plan is, I'm going to be perfect, and I am so strong-willed, and I will never go back again. No,
Yeah.
that's not realistic.
No.
And that's
The
not
key
life,
is,
by the way.
that's
No.
not life. Yeah, the key is to address it when you do gain a little bit. You address it immediately in a way that's not like a sissy. Can I say that? Like a sissy. Like you do it in a very tough,
Yeah.
in a very firm and brutal way. Like
Very
you take no
aggressive.
prisoners, right?
Yes.
And you get back to where you know you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you were able to do that, and that was
Yes.
the key.
Yeah.
You know,
Just one more thing. And
Yeah,
by the
great.
way, I then a week later went on a 20-day European cruise.
That's right. That was the second trip.
That was the second trip with family in Europe. You're in France. You're gonna have a baguette. You're gonna have a
I was
croissant.
gonna say a couple of croissants.
You are in Portugal. You're gonna have a nata. You're just gonna have all these things, and I did enjoy them. Before I left, actually, I was then down 10 pounds. So overall, I lost 10 pounds in maintenance between those 2 trips.
Oh wow.
And when I got back, I knew Dr. R. I already had booked my appointment to start round 2.
There you go.
You had a plan.
So
So that's the thing.
Had
This
it
is one
in
of those
pocket.
things that, like, and I the only reason I can never say this enough, and this is to everybody. This speaks volumes. So you've mentioned so many different things. So one, more importantly, obviously, everyone's always super intimidated. Like, this is too much to handle. This is too much to prepare for. I can't do this. I don't have time. Nobody has time. Let's just stop right there. No one has time. Time is not ours. It is borrowed. No one has time. So as we're speaking, we're all losing time, right? You need to make the best and utilize your time for what your lifestyle is. There is an option and a choice all the time. And I love what you said, because I swear you spoke to me. I say this all the time. You said I would plan at least 4 meals. I'm not expecting
4 days.
4 days of meals.
yes.
I'm not expecting someone to sit there and tell me they are, they're getting their own eggs from the backyard and milking that cow, and it's never going to be processed, and you're going to stay in the kitchen for 12 hours 3 times a week, and that's the only way to get fresh food. The truth is, there are options. Planning ahead, that is a huge victory that gets passed on all the time. Because even if you're in your deepest and darkest feelings at that moment, when you feel that, like, I did this for myself, I planned this much ahead, everything else could be all over the place, and you have some sense of control right there in front of you. So you took the time by meal prepping and planning to do that, and it's a huge deal. So that's great. So that's number 1. Number 2, being able to go away and still enjoy doing your vacations and enjoying family and enjoying life, and them seeing you happy. That's 2 accomplishments. 1, you're sharing that you're exuding those feelings. Like everybody sees that of you. It's contagious. They want to see you healthy. They want to see you happy. And you're also not missing out on anything. There's nothing you're missing by choosing to be healthy. It does
Well,
not
let's ask: is there any experience that you missed out on because you were getting healthier?
Right.
Absolutely not. I'll go to even just this Saturday. With the fitness club that I'm a part of, they had a breast cancer walk in the morning. They were having, breakfast and snacks, etc. I didn't touch it. I had a cup of coffee and I did my walk and enjoyed everybody's company, met wonderful people. I went from there to a 4-year-old birthday party. My niece's daughter turned 4, and talk about food everywhere, right? Italian, you name it. And you know what? I sat there, I ate lunch before I went, and I sat there and I enjoyed everyone's company, and I didn't touch a thing. I didn't even have like a plain salad. I brought trays home for my husband of all that delicious food. And no, I didn't need to have it. And, I didn't miss out on the experience. I had the fun. I saw family. And
the experience is everything. I think that what happens is we put too much emphasis on that one particular thing, and it takes away from your experience.
It becomes all about the food. You're right, Jackie. And it's because at a fundamental level, people dislike their families. and so then they put it all on the food.
I vacation with them.
I'm kidding. I know you don't. No. Here's what I was thinking, Z, when you were talking, and you mentioned this without saying it explicitly. It sounds like you've gotten back in touch with your body.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like that there was for a long time there was no communication. You couldn't enjoy your body. You weren't listening to it. It wasn't listening to you.
Yeah.
It was just, the relationship was in a bad place.
It was, instead of rose-colored glasses, it was like clogged up, dark, smoky glasses.
That's what happens. We live in a fog like that, right? When we're overweight and we're we have a sugar metabolism and we can't breathe, right? We're in a fog. We're not in touch. Now you're so in touch with your body. You know when you're full. There's not that desperation to just keep eating until you're stuffed.
Yes.
But you also have
to try to fill a vacuum.
Yeah.
But you also have clarity. Your mind is telling you, this is what I'm enjoying now. I want to taste this. I'm fine. I'm not going to mindlessly continue to touch those while I'm having a conversation. Your focus is on the conversation. Correct. You make graze and do other things. And then if in the event, like you said, 2 situations where you enjoyed, you still made healthy decisions, you put on a couple of pounds. You knew exactly what to do when you got back. And I'm sure, tell me if I'm wrong, because this happened to me as well, coming home from an amazing vacation, great time, put on a couple of pounds, and it was like, oh God, what am I doing now? I don't know what to do first. Although you kind of sort of know what to do until this program came about, I felt like now I know exactly what to do. It's already done for me. I just have to execute it.
You just have to execute.
And it's shameless plug time now because we're talking about the book. We're talking about, my book called Keeping It Off. It goes over these principles.
Yes.
You have to have a plan for what happens if you gain 2 pounds, what happens if you gain 5 pounds, what happens if you gain 10 pounds. Yeah. And you have to be really willing to stick to that plan. Absolutely. Like we were saying before, in a very harsh, very brutal way. You can't pussyfoot around it. You just have to tackle it.
That's right.
True.
Right?
That's right.
Emily is saying something. So Emily's also doing... Yeah, she's on the ship. She's away. She's on a cruise herself.
Thank you.
And behaving herself. Hello from a ship in the middle of the Atlantic. This is where she's calling.
I love it.
Emily,
I love it.
Take a quick swim and tell me how the water is in the middle.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Emily and Zaraid, I could see them being very good friends.
Yeah, Emily's been on top of the program in a similar way to Zaraid. I mean, she's killing it. She feels terrific. The water's warm, she said.
Warm.
Really?
The water is warm here. It's raining.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it's warmer in the Atlantic than it is in the Pacific because of the whatever it's called. I forgot. So, Z, let's kind of wrap it up a little bit here now. I think a lot of the things you're speaking to are going to hit home with a lot of people. But there are people, I have no doubt, who are going to hear this who might feel a little bit hopeless. You know, they might be in that place where you were,
Right.
feeling out of control, you know, feeling like they're not themselves anymore.
Hmm.
What would you say to that person or these people?
I would say that you are still there. You are deep, deep, deep inside. The you that you once knew isn't lost. You just have to dig deep and find that person. And a journey back to health. This is a fantastic tool to do that. And the reason I say that is you will very quickly get the glimmer of hope, get that sense of well-being that you're on your way and on a trajectory to finding that person that's deep inside still. And this program for me did it. You heard 3 weeks in, I was, pulling back on medication and being able to breathe again. And to me, there's nothing better than that when you get that glimmer of, oh, I think I could do this. I had thoughts actually when I was at that point where I couldn't breathe before I started the program. And I remember thinking, I feel like I'm 100 years old and, I could barely make it up the stairs in my own home. And I thought, is this it? Is this life for me for the rest of my days?
No.
And I felt like I would never be able to connect again to myself. And being here now, again, it's a journey that started in April. And being here now and feeling my way towards the hope of that before May, just because of the changes that I felt in my body. I, there's, I can't put a price on that, right? They're feeling and finding yourself again. You're there.
Hmm.
Make the dedication, make the commitment. You're worth it. You deserve it. And you can't even imagine what it feels like being on the other end of it and breathing for me and walking miles in Europe or whatever your goal will be.
Yeah.
You can make it and you can get there. So don't give up.
Well, let me just say this. She's trying to hide it, but Jackie is more than a little verklempt right now.
I love it. I can't.
Uh,
I get like very.
and what you said is so profound that I am close, but I'm in control of myself. So
Emily, say so well said. God bless you and keep you healthy.
Oh, you
yeah, that's
too,
what Emily
Emily,
said.
and enjoy.
And Vicky said amazing. Vicky is also doing amazingly well.
Oh,
Program
I'm
right
getting pom poms for everyone. Everyone needs pom poms.
Yes.
Yeah, we need a little like. Yeah, I want to see a line dance. Everybody just cheer each other on.
Well, listen.
That's
Let's wrap it up. We can't do any better than that. So I should have just hung up. So I didn't. I didn't want to be rude. So I want to thank everyone for joining us. Jackie, I'll give you the last word.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Like, I
Yes, thank
honestly,
you.
I said to Dr. I'm like, I fell in love with you the first time that we met. I'm like, you're just so positive and happy. And I'm like, we talked about this. So it's just so crazy because I don't know if you remember this, but when we did meet, we talked about the place you would be in potentially by Thanksgiving. And you're pretty much past it. So I'm going to cry because I'm like, that was just so, to see it actually happen for somebody else, come full circle is like, that's good for me. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys. You've been amazing. Every single one of you is incredibly supportive and with all my crazy questions too and my planning.
Liz, that's what we're here for, right?
We like that.
By the way, I have a really good recipe. If anybody, can I throw that out there?
Oh,
send it out.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
you're going to tell us quick. Okay, tell us and then
I'm going to share it too, just because
Yeah.
obviously you might be able to have it. I'm sorry you can't have right now a program, but you can make it in a couple of weeks. But super easy, couple of ingredients, raw honey, mash up some strawberries, mix them together, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, no alcohol in it, mix it together, form little patties, put it on parchment paper, freeze it for a few. You dip it in your Lily's chocolate. Amazing.
Oh wow. So what you're saying, if you're gonna have a sugar
crying,
snack,
I'm both crying.
you could use
I
those
am.
good
You
for-
made me cry. You guys made me cry.
All right.
Good,
Well,
Dr. R.
on that note, let's say goodbye and thank you again, Z. And I think I'm going to see you later. Is that correct?
Yes, I will see you in a little bit.
Good.
All
Take
Have a
right.
care,
good
Take,
one, guys.
everyone.
take care. Be good.
Be
Have a good
good.
week.
Bye bye.